Yes, people, how are we all doing? Welcome all back to the channel. I've been away for a little while. There's just not been much to talk about. I didn't need to talk about the Kirkus thing because he was doing all that himself. The Nunes stuff, I know it's been around a little bit, but I'm not going to jump on that until we get a little bit more info on that, because I doubt, I'm seeing the price going around the past couple of days, and I highly doubt that Napoli are going to pay that much money. So I haven't touched on that, but today, well, the Isak stuff's been sticking around for a little bit, but today especially, we had two big sort of breaking pieces of news that have caused a stir within the fan base. So I felt it was necessary for me to get involved and give my view and thoughts on it, and try and clear up some things regarding Ibrahima Konate, Luis Diaz, and then eventually I'll touch on the Alexander Isak situation for those interested. But if you're new here, not already, make sure on that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you're turning on that notification bell so you do not miss any more content. Let's check out this the right way. There you go. Got it the right way. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. I'm hoping everything is working. Boom. Hey Tom, hope you're good. Nice to see you making more content. Is Sam okay? No streams or content today. Was worried, or is he just having a well-deserved rest? He was messaging in a group chat earlier, so I assume he's alright. He might just be having that break that he deserves, because he fucking smashes out content as Sam. I know he's live with Coppish tomorrow. I won't be. I've got stuff I've got to get done tomorrow, so I won't be live. So I don't know what's gonna happen there in terms of that. It might still go on. It might be moved to a different day, but just keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm sure on the Coppish morning show that'll get cleared up. But we start with the news that broke from Santi. Now, I'll touch on Santi later, because Santi is Santi. But Ibrahima Konate wants to leave Liverpool at the end of his contract, and Santi goes on to say that PSG and Real Madrid are the favourites for him. And this has sparked a whole debate within the fan base about whether or not Liverpool should sell him or keep him for this season if he's unsure of signing a new deal. Now, the first thing that needs to be prefaced here is this is not FIFA. This is not career mode. I cannot just force a player to leave my football club. If, and we're going to be logical here, people, if Ibrahima Konate has his heart set on Real Madrid or PSG, and the only clubs that come in for him this summer are Inter Milan, for example, he's not going to move this summer. He won't move to Inter Milan. He won't move to Monaco. He won't move to Atleti. He won't move to Bayern, for example. If he's got his heart set somewhere else, we can't just sell him to any random club, because he will just turn down the move. So, if he's set on going, we have two options. We can either sell to one of Real Madrid or PSG at a very discounted price, because they know they've got a strong standing in this, or Liverpool can sit there and go, we're going to keep you, and we're going to give ourselves the opportunity to sign you to a new deal throughout the season, and B, have you here for this whole season. That is as annoying as it is to potentially lose another player on a free transfer. That is the smart decision. The smart decision is to keep Ibrahima Konate for this season. Liverpool are in a 2-year window. We are in a 2-year window. We have to maximise everything we can out of Mohamed Salah, out of Virgil van Dijk, and out of Alisson Becker. 3 legends of this football club who have 2 years left that we need to maximise. As I said, we are going to get a massively discounted price on Ibrahima Konate. We're not going. At most, we'll get 45. At most, at absolute most, we get 45 million for him if we were to sell him. Who can I buy for 45 million quid who's better than Ibrahima Konate? I'll tell you who. No one. No one. Ibrahima Konate is one of the best centre-backs on the planet. I'm not going to find better than him for 45 million quid. I know that we're looking at Mark Gahey, and Mark Gahey is a really, really, really good centre-back. But Mark Gahey is not on Ibrahima Konate's level. Yes, he could well develop and become that, but right now he's not on that level. And because I'm in a bit of a win-now mentality, Ibrahima Konate gives me the best chance of winning right now. He has the best partnership with Virgil van Dijk. He covers the right back very well. It makes too much sense to keep him this year. We can cross the bridge of the contract when we come to it. If he leaves, he leaves. This has to be the last situation we get into with contracts. This has to be the last one. We cannot continue to let assets get into the final 12 months of their deal. We can't continue to allow that to happen. We can't. Because for a club that wants to be self-sustaining, you cannot continue to not make profit off assets or not make any money off assets. So we need to draw a line in the sand after this point. Right now, my team is better with Ibrahima Konate in it than it is without it. That's the stone cold fact. It's better with him in it than it is without him. So because I'm in a win-now mentality, I keep Ibrahima Konate. And who knows, he might sign a new deal. He might change his mind throughout the season and go, you know what, I want to stay. You know what, this is where I see my long-term future. At least you give yourself the option. At least you give yourself the option with it. So it just makes a lot of sense right now to keep Ibrahima Konate. There is... Mark, I appreciate the comment, mate. There's absolutely no chance Luke Cable goes for 45 million quid. He's got a release clause of like 90. There's no chance they let him go for 45 million quid. He's a very good centre-back, but there's no chance they let him go for that price. Absolutely zero chance. Now, let's touch on the Santi Aruna. Now, I have everything else prepared, but I completely forgot to prepare this, so let's see if I can... Because I collected all the pieces that I wanted for this. Also follow the Twitter. So, this is Santi and his history with Liverpool. Liverpool had new positive contacts with Xabi Alonso. The manager wants the move to the Reds, who will continue to push in the next weeks. That was before he rejected us, stayed at Leverkusen, and we got Arne Slot. Exclusive. Mohamed Salah, the Egyptian striker, is open to a move away from Liverpool this summer. In case of departure, he favours Spain. Turns out Mohamed Salah did not leave the football club that summer. Didn't go to Spain. Instead, has stayed since. Sofyan Amrabat. Klopp wants him and has already met with the player's agent. New discussions planned with the Reds. Amrabat prefers Liverpool. We didn't want Amrabat, we wanted Ryan Gravenberch. We had no interest in Sofyan Amrabat. Manchester United presents their project and key financial proposal to Kim Min-jae. Liverpool remain interested. Liverpool had zero interest in Kim Min-jae. And then the most egregious one, and one that I'm sure people will get a laugh at. Talks continue with Raul Costa, the agent of Ruben Amorim and Liverpool. Ruben Amorim is prepared to join Liverpool. The Reds are leading the race to sign the Portuguese coach. Liverpool will meet next week Raul Costa, the agent of Ruben Amorim, and try to reach an agreement on personal terms. Ruben Amorim wants to join the Reds. Liverpool have now sent their first proposal contract today to Ruben Amorim's agent, a 3-year contract as per Pedro Sepulveda. Discussions will continue to find a total agreement and seal the deal. Liverpool are favourites. Talks continue between Ruben Amorim's agent and Liverpool. The Reds want to reach an agreement with his agent as soon as possible. Liverpool offer a 3-year deal to Ruben Amorim's agent. Liverpool never actually even met with Ruben Amorim. We never actually met with him. So that should say all you need to know about Santi. That's all you need to know about Santi and his reliability with Liverpool. Now, of course, he could be right here, but I'm not, dead set on it. I'm not dead set on it. Big ups for the super chat as well, Liam. Good to see you around, lad. Mac and Grav contracts need sorting soon, 100%. They've got 3 years left on their deals. In fact, our entire first choice midfield from last year has 3 years left. You'd be surprised how quickly 3 years becomes 1 year, and you're fucked. So, we do need to start getting on top of these contracts, and I think that will happen next summer. I think the reason we're spending so big this summer It's a whole other thing that I read the other day. I think the whole reason we're spending so big this summer, and we want to spend a lot this summer, is because this summer is the last summer of PSR. Next year it goes into this whole other thing, which is based on on you can only spend 80% of what you earn or whatever. Like, it's very sort of, it's a new thing. So it's not PSR next year. It's a lot more restrictive in certain ways and a bit more free in other ways. But I think that we're spending now because we have so much wiggle room with PSR. You spend it all now, and then next year, when it becomes a little bit tighter, but we've already got our squad set up, that's when we focus on contracts. And that's when we focus on getting new deals signed and sorted for the top players in this new sort of regime and era. That's the way I think it goes. But we definitely do need to get those contracts sorted ASAP. Moving forward, say 2 years from now, do you think Konate could be the centrepiece in the defence? When Van Dijk goes, he probably steps up and becomes the main guy, doesn't he? Because, he's been here that long, if he stays. But that's for him to decide. That's for him to decide if he wants to be that or not. 50 likes target Tom. Don't like people. Just like this video. If you're new or you're not, just like the video. Make sure that we're getting the likes up. It helps the algorithm, gets this seen by other people as well, and that's all we want. So yeah, that's all we really know about the Konate thing. I'd keep him. We're a better side with him. But what really sort of hit was about 7 o'clock today. Liverpool's interest in renewing Luis Diaz's contract seems to have disappeared. His continuity at Liverpool is not guaranteed. Diaz and his entourage are not happy with Liverpool. Goes on to say, according to sources close to Diaz, this is not the first time such a situation has occurred, which has only deepened the frustration. Both the player and his inner circle are struggling to understand the close approach and recent decisions regarding his future. Luis Diaz wants clarity on his future. If he stays, he wants a better deal. Otherwise, he wants to leave. So, Luis Diaz. I have made my stance very clear on Luis Diaz for a long time. He is a good footballer, but he is very replaceable. He is very replaceable. Last year was his best year numbers-wise, and there were still concerns, like the fact he went 3 whole months without getting a Premier League goal. And if it wasn't for Mohamed Salah, we would have lost and drawn a hell of a lot more games in that period of time. So yes, I do have my concerns with Luis Diaz. This contract situation has been brewing for a while, and I have been very clear in saying that I do not want to be the club that gives Diaz the big contract. Whatever club gets him next is giving him 200k a week plus. And if you were to say that you think he deserves that, I'm not going to argue against it. But I don't want Liverpool to be the club that pays that. Because if you're giving him a new deal, it'll be a 5-year contract, you keep him until he's 33. I don't want to keep him till he's 33, I'll be brutally honest. I think you can get a younger winger who in 2 years' time will be as good, if not better, than Luis Diaz. As good, or if not better. That's the way it is. If he stays, it's a positive. I'm happy to keep Diaz around. I'm happy to keep him around because he's versatile. He does have quality. I won't ever say he doesn't have quality, even if I think it's limited. He has quality and he's versatile, which, considering we've got AFCON coming up, it's a very useful asset to have. But he's not this untouchable beacon. He's certainly not my first choice left winger at Liverpool. Everyone who watches me knows it's Cody Gakpo. And I do think you can go out into the market this summer and grab players who can either A, be on the same level as him now, or B, hit the same level, if not higher, within 2 years. Do you want to go for the same level now? You grab a Rafael Leao. That's what you do. I know people have the gripes with him, but Rafael Leao is he is an incredible footballer, and if a manager can just nurture him and get on him and properly tap into that mindset, you get a top footballer. If that's not the way you want to go, which is fine, that's not the way you want to go, You go grab Malik Fofana from Lyon. 30 million euros because they got relegated. You grab him. I implore you to go watch a Malik Fofana comp. You will see that lad is basically 21, 22 Luis Diaz. He's 21, 22 Luis Diaz. That was the best version of Luis Diaz we had. That 6 months of 21, 22 Luis Diaz, the best version we had of him. And Malik Fofana reminds me an incredible amount of him. You also have the option of playing Verts out there, even though I don't think that's necessarily what we're going to do. But you have the option of it, should we say. You have the option of it. So you can go either way. I personally would go for Fofana because, as good as Rafael Leao is in my eyes, because we have Cody Gakpo, he's the starter. I need a guy who is happy for at least a year or two to be a rotation piece. Malik Fofana can do both wings. He can't do it front, but he can do both wings. Really good. Which is exactly what I want from that winger. We have the two starting wingers in Salah and Gakpo, and then we have Malik Fofana as a rotation piece. And then you might keep Ben Doku. I don't really know. You got Rio Engamo who can come in for a game or two, but it's very rare that you'll be seeing every attacker rotated in that. If you get what I'm saying. So for me, I'd go for Malik Fofana. Big ups, by the way, to Red Chili. Don't always tune in, but when I do, I like to support the channel. What a time to be a Red. Big ups, mate. Big ups yourself, Red Chili. Thank you very much for the support. Love it. So let's discuss the thing that's got me here. Diaz and his entourage are not happy with Liverpool. I get why you're not happy with Liverpool. You've wanted the contract. But let's not make out that you and your team are faultless here. For this whole season, in fact, not just this season, for like 2 or 3 seasons now, you've been fucking... You, your entourage, your family, you've been flirting with Barca the whole time. Interviews with the media going, he'd love to play for Barca. It's a dream to play for Barcelona. Barca this, Barca that, Barca this, Barca that. You might be not happy with us. I'm sure the football club aren't happy with having to deal with fucking media reports like that every other month. So it swings in roundabouts, doesn't it? It swings in roundabouts. So I'm not shocked that we are not chomping at the bit to sort this contract out. I'm really not, He's going to be asking for a lot of money. He's going to be 33 by the time that contract ends. Whatever club pays for it, good on them. It should not be us. Liverpool should not be the ones giving Luis Diaz his big prime contract. We shouldn't. Not when you can go grab a Malik Fofana and you've got Cody Gakpo. Not when you've got that. And if it frees up, you know what? We could even go further. Like you said, you could get Leao. You could push the boat out and get a Rodrigo, for example, if he does decide to leave Real Madrid. If you're willing to spend big bucks on him. So this is... Luis Diaz is not this untouchable guy that he sometimes gets made out to be. He's easily replace. I'll say this: he's more replaceable than Gakpo. Gakpo's skill set and what Gakpo offers this attack is a lot harder to replace than Luis Diaz. I could name you a couple of wingers right now who can do what Diaz does: work hard up and down the line, do a bit of defensive work, good dribbling, get in the box, score some goals. Malik Fofana does that. Rodrigo does that. Outside the work rate, Rafael Leao does that. But with Gakpo, I'm after someone who's 6'2" plus, strong in the air, good cross, powerful shot, solid creativity, and will still work back defensively. The only guy who fits all them requirements is Kenan Yildiz, and they won't sell Kenan Yildiz. And when people go on about the height and all that, it's very important considering how we attack with Mohamed Salah. One of Mohamed Salah's strongest points last season was that cut-in, floated back post cross. That only works because Cody Gakpo has such a height advantage on any fullback that you can float it in the air and he'll win the header. You can float it in the air and he'll dominate the fullback physically. So I think Gakpo is the harder one to replace. Diaz is a very good archetypal winger. Gakpo is not an archetypal winger. There's not one archetype that fits Cody Gakpo. And I feel like Gakpo gets a lot of disrespect for some reason. But on this, look, he's protecting his interests. This intrigues me. According to sources close to Diaz, it's not the first time such a situation has occurred, which has only deepened their frustration. Both the player and his inner circle are struggling to understand the club's approach and recent decisions regarding his future. If you're asking me this, what this is, I would say that every time we've got close to the side and to give Luis Diaz a new deal, we've hit the dreaded winter months. You've hit the dreaded winter months. Now, Luis Diaz is he's got like split personality disorder. In the summer, he's Luis Diaz. Technical South American flair, beats his man, scores goals, gets assists. When he can wear short sleeves, when he doesn't have to wear gloves, Luis Diaz is one of the best left wingers on the planet. And then you get to October, then he gets the months of October to March, and you've got Louis or Lewis. No, there's no South American flair. The South American flair is gone. What you've got instead is a winger who's got a dodgy touch, a pillow for a foot, inconsistent dribbling, and a frustrating game after game after game after game, and months up on months without not getting that goal. If Diaz could carry summer form to winter, you would be talking about the best one of, if not the best left winger in the world. But he can't, and the man is 28. He has consistency problems that I would expect from a 22-year-old at 28. I cannot continue to do this. I cannot continue to do this. Not at this point, and not when you're asking for 200 grand a week. When you're asking for close to 200 grand a week, the fact that I seemingly cannot rely on you in winter months, which is where title races can be decided, maybe not title races, but whether you're in a title race can be decided or not, and I get a goal or two in 3 months, I'm sorry, me personally, I can't justify that. I cannot justify that personally. So if you're this insistent upon leaving this football club, go. Go. You feel hard done by. I could say the same about Liverpool and the way you've handled the talk about Barcelona in the past couple of years. So at the end of the day, if you want to go, go. I don't think Liverpool should offer him a contract. I would sell him this summer, and I would buy Malik Fofana. That's my mindset with it. Diaz post-March. Diaz pre-March. Now, to say you carry Jota and Nunes is not hard. Nunes scored 3 goals. Diogo Jota scored 3 goals. Diaz scored more than 3 goals. Yay! Woo! Get in there. The difference is Jota and Nunes, really bad. Boo! Really bad. Luis Diaz, therefore, does not need to perform to a very high level consistently to be better than them. Now, I do not want to take away from what Luis Diaz did last year. Luis Diaz produced probably his best season in a Liverpool shirt. But the man is 28, and it is the first time I've seen him have consistent output. And if you know me, consistent output is what I'm after. And the fact of the matter is, from the months of October to January, I got 2 or 3 goals. And they came in the space of about a week. I got 2 or 3 goals in the space of a week in the Premier League. That for me isn't reliable. That for me isn't something I can trust. If he was 21, 22, then I'd be sitting there going, oh my God, look at the potential this lad's got. He's doing all this now. Yes, there's problems with his consistency in terms of his end product, but that'll get nurtured with time. The difference is the man is entering his prime, if not already in his prime, and I'm sitting there trying to justify the fact he went 3 months without a goal. I like Luis Diaz. When he's on it, he's an incredible footballer to watch. But at the end of the day, output is king for an attacker. And Luis Diaz's output, outside of the summer months and outside of sunny weather, is spooky at best. Therefore, if he is this insistent upon leaving this football club this summer, I am more than happy to let him go. If I'm getting the 70 million quid I'm after, and it helps fund my striker or my left winger, it's exactly what I want. It's exactly what I want. Gakpo scores a couple tap-ins and cuts inside and floats across, and he plays with no intensity and is slow and predictable. He ghosts in games. As Kara said, he plays the game in slow motion. Bollocks, 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 and bollocks. You do not score in 12 home games in a row across 4 separate competitions if you are slow, predictable, and play the game in slow motion. You do not score against Real Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Manchester City. You do not score in pretty much every round of the cup if you are slow, predictable, and ghosting games. That's the fact of the matter. I don't know why you have this out for Cody Gakpo. It's not right. Sorry. What did Salah do after What? What? Sorry, you said we don't create for the number 9 in the system. What position did he play in them 3 months? A mixture of left wing and striker, but mainly striker. And when I said we don't create, I said we don't force the ball to him. So we used to force the ball to Darwin Núñez. When Núñez plays up front, under Klopp, the system was built around funneling the ball to Núñez. Under Arne Slot, the system was not built around funneling the ball to the striker. That didn't mean we didn't create chances, though. There's a reason why Núñez and Jota still have a lot of big chances missed. Because we do still create chances for the striker. And Diaz, in that period of time, missed those chances. I remember Fulham at home. Some gilt-edged chances there. Now, obviously, he had a good season. But we cannot ignore what happened in that time. And we cannot ignore the fact that it is a constant. Gakpo in the derby away from home, worst left wing performance I've ever seen. Impressive that considering he went off in the 60th minute because he was injured. And in the first half, we didn't fucking attack down the left. That's really impressive, that, to be fair. My Gakpo agenda started when he robbed Jones of a hat-trick. What are you on about against West Ham in the Cup last season? Jesus Christ. Would you go for Fofana for 50 mil over Leao for 70? Fofana won't cost 50 though, he'll cost for 30 because he's got a relegation release clause and Leon are being relegated because of financial concerns. We can't win the Champions League with Gakpo as our left winger. We couldn't win it with Diaz as the left winger either, and he had that for 4 fucking things. 4 years. We've had Diaz as our left winger, so what does that say? Eh? And again, this is not me trying to run agendas, this is just me shooting down some of these points. The Leicester brace. Oh yeah, you probably should have, yeah. No, I'm with you. I still, yeah, you should have left it. But still, Roman, I have respect for Luis Diaz. I do respect Luis Diaz, but he seemingly wants to go. So what do you want me to do? Sit there and beg on my knees for him to stay? No. Do I think you can replace him? Yes. So why would I sit there and beg on my knees for a player who I think is replaceable and who doesn't want to be at the football club? PSG have Kvaratskhelia and Barcola as their left wingers. Proper wingers with skill and pace. You're right. If only... You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe, this Liverpool team didn't fucking win the league last season, so they're not any fucking good. You're right, we didn't win the league last year, we're not any fucking good. We should just copy PSG with everything they do. Let's ignore the fact that my left wingers... Bear in mind, I'm still saying I'd sell Diaz, but let's bear in mind our left wingers got a combined like 44 GA last season in all comps. You're right, they are shit. They're both shit because they don't have pace. Even though Luis Diaz can outpace a man, even though Gakpo can outpace a man and outstrength a man, you're right, because they're not Kvaratskhelia and Barcola, they're fucking dog shit. We should blow up a title-winning team just so we can be more like PSG. Christ on a bike. You know what I said? We're going to try and emulate elements of PSG. That's not what I meant. If you get a good offer, you sell them. 100%. 100%. But enough about Diaz. I might, if you keep putting in comments and super chats, I'll touch on Diaz again. But right now, I need to talk about the other elephant in the room. Alex. So, this has been murmuring on for a while. Now, if you want my thoughts on Alexander Isak's move to Liverpool, or potential move to Liverpool, should I say, I'll put it like this. If Liverpool did not believe they had a chance at Alexander Isak, Liverpool would not be entertaining stories like this. If Newcastle believed they 100% were keeping Alexander Isak this summer, they would not be writing stories about how they are going to struggle to keep him with wages. For me, I have seen my club be in the exact same situation as Newcastle were back in 2016 with Raheem Sterling, back in 2018 with Felipe Coutinho. When your best player is the target of a major football club who is bigger than you, you do get defensive. You do want to defend your club's honour and say, no, why would you want to leave this football club? I get that. I was livid when Coutinho was being talked about going to Barca in the summer. I was livid with the whole Sterling situation. But the fact of the matter is, we can offer more than Newcastle can. Now, this is not me saying it's a guarantee. A lot of things need to happen. There are 4 key aspects in my eyes that need to happen. Liverpool needs to sanction the deal. I think that is probably the most likely thing. I certainly think we will put in a bid for him this summer. Whether it gets accepted or not, that's by the by. But step 1 needs to be Liverpool willing to sanction the deal. Step 2. Alexander Isak needs to want the move. If Isak can move to Liverpool, he would. So Isak wants the move. So, is it to the level that we want? Because ideally we would want Alexander Isak to let Newcastle know that he wants to leave. But this is a decent enough start. It's not perfect, but it's decent enough. I do think at the end of the day, if Liverpool put in bids for Alexander Isak that were accepted, Isak would join Liverpool Football Club. The biggest sticking point is Newcastle. Newcastle hold a lot of cards in this situation. He is on a 3-year deal. They have Champions League football. They are in a strong position. So, we now look at the situation. What can we... Is there a world where Newcastle sell? 100% there is. And Mohamed brings up my next point. Newcastle have had £120 million worth of bids rejected for Joao Pedro, James Trafford and Anthony Elanga. Newcastle are going to need to spend £150 million on that trio, most likely. If not, maybe 140. Newcastle still also need to buy a centre-back and a couple squad pieces. Their Champions League money isn't that... They can't run the Champions League money that long. When you are a club like Newcastle, when you are a club like Liverpool in 2018, and you are building and building and building, eventually you hit a ceiling that you have to break through. How do you break through that ceiling? you break through that ceiling with a sacrifice. We had to break through that ceiling with a sacrifice of Coutinho. Newcastle may have to break through that ceiling with a sacrifice of Isak. It is not about whether they have the money, it's about whether they are legally allowed to spend it. PSR has them in a fucking chokehold. It has had them in a chokehold for a while now. They have a bit more room this season, but with, as you can see with the signings they're trying to make, they will quickly end up back in that chokehold. Do I agree with PSR? That's a whole separate thing. They won't have to contend with it next year, that's all I'll say. But in the meantime, it is a case of Newcastle will very quickly, after a couple of deals, be in a situation like this. If you all of a sudden add £150 million into their kitty, they have all the wiggle room that they need in PSR to do what they want. They need to buy a couple squad pieces, they can buy a couple squad pieces. They need to spend a little bit more money to get a Langer or something, they can spend that money to get a Langer. They want to go for Giorgio Scalvini, they can get Giorgio Scalvini. Now, I'm not saying they will do this. They may well sell someone else and keep Isak. I'm saying that right now I would give Liverpool about a 20% chance on Alexander Isak. But the one thing that I'm confident-ish in saying, the one thing that I am pretty sure will happen at some point in this window, whether we hear about it this window or not, I think Liverpool will submit an offer to Newcastle for Alexander Isak. I think at some point in this window, Liverpool will bid for Alexander Isak. The fact we're not denying it means that the football club must have an element of belief that something could happen. Therefore, I certainly think that there will be an offer submitted for Alexander Isak this window. Whether it is accepted or not, who knows. But I do think that offer will be made. Yes, they can. What can they do after that, Ryan? Fuck all, because they hit the PSR limit. They have 150 million quid that they can spend. So, you buy a Langer, Trafford and Joao Pedro for 140 million quid. All of a sudden, you've got 10 million quid gap. Well, what can you buy nowadays with 10 million fucking quid, by the way? Nothing. These signing, they do not have this £500 million wiggle room that you think they've got. Oh, mate, he would have got off on that like you wouldn't believe. Seemingly more than you. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts on if we get Gyökeres instead. To me, that there are of course question marks with if you can do it at the Premier League, but we'll be sure a great sign. I mean, this is what we'll touch on next. I think it is this one. Simply buying a number 9 because one is potentially leaving is not part of the recruitment strategy of Richard Hughes, especially as the arrival of Vert enhances their attacking permutations. However, if the right player becomes available, LFC would naturally be interested. To me, that makes out that Liverpool have their shortlist already drawn up, and if Gyökeres isn't on it, he won't go in for him. I think there are probably 4. If I'm including Gyökeres, who I probably don't think is on the shortlist, because I think we will have made a move for him by now. I might be wrong, but we might make a move for him by now, just because there's been other interest in him. I think your shortlist has Isak, Ekitike, and potentially one more. I hope it's Osimhen, but I also think Osimhen's one that would have probably happened by now. That's right. As much as I want Osimhen, that deal seems too easy to complete, and that's why I'm sitting there. Maybe it's a case where we're going to give Isak as much time, and in the moment we know he's not going to happen, we shift. But I do think that we would have at least heard a little bit by now on an Osimhen front. That's all I'm saying. I was hyping up a 5% chance of Florian Wirtz, mate. I have more. I'll tell you this: when the Wirtz stuff broke about us being interested in him, I have more confidence that we get Isak than I did we get Wirtz at that point. Do you think we get a 9 if it isn't Isak then? I'll put it like this. If Isak's not on the table, and Osimhen's not on the table for whatever reason, I think we have a set hard limit on Ekitike. And if we can't get him for that price, we don't buy a striker this summer. That's my line of thinking. If we can't get Isak, we move to Ekitike where we have a set limit. If we can't get him for that limit, we don't buy a striker. That's how I'm thinking right now. That's how I'm thinking. I feel Joker is being used to spook Newcastle that Isak is not our be-all, end-all. Maybe. No way Isak is wasting his prime years at Newcastle battling for fourth. I'll be shocked if he signs a new contract this summer. I would be. He may well do. But I'd be quite shocked if he signed a new deal, to be honest. Unless there was like a gentleman's agreement that he can go, which again would surprise me. So I'm intrigued to see how these contract talks play out, because it may be a case where these tried contract talks, Isak shuts them down and they go, you know what, let's just take the money for him. Who knows? Look, the situation's volatile. What? Another thing I will say, like I said, I expect an offer to be made at some point this window. Whether we hear about it or not, I don't know. But I also think that we won't be hearing anything sort of about Liverpool starting to make a move on this striker front until next month at the absolute earliest. I reckon it'll be around the 10th of July, if not slightly earlier. That's when we'll start hearing anything somewhat concrete on the striker front. I don't expect to hear anything regarding Liverpool signing a striker for the next 10 days. I really don't. We can talk about it, obviously, but I don't expect to hear anything concrete like we're stepping up interest or we've met with agents and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Newcastle can't give him the contract he deserves. Think max they go is 180k a week. He will get 250 plus which you can offer. Well, this is the interesting thing with the contract situation. Newcastle are valuing him at 150 to 200 million quid. A player knows their worth. What's not to say that Isak then goes into the contract negotiations asking for mega bucks from Newcastle because you think I'm a £150 million footballer? At that point, all of a sudden, Newcastle can't afford that. Who knows? Again, look, I'm spitballing. I'm just trying to get a grasp on it. I still think the most likely outcome is Isak stays at Newcastle for the season. I do. But I am not ruling this out because the football club won't rule this out. And how the fuck do you know that we're not confident on the Isak deal, by the way? Because we only found out we were always confident on the Wirtz deal when he was fucking announced. You're sitting there running these fucking narratives missing all the context. We only found out we had confidence in the deal for Wirtz when he was fucking announced. And fucking Pierce or whoever wrote his fucking... the thing they do where it's like the fucking long story about, oh, this is what really happened behind the scenes. We only knew then that we had confidence in the deal from the start. Back in fucking May, end of May, we were told that we had that we expect them to go to Bayern. We didn't have the confidence in that way. So what are you fucking on about? Again, let's be logical here. I have been in this industry for 5 years now. I've been on fucking Twitter and being involved in reading all this shit for 9-10 years now. I know how our journalists fucking work. Liverpool are not shutting down talks of this deal. Liverpool will shut down talks of any deal they do not give a shit about. Therefore, I am of the mindset that Liverpool Football Club clearly believe that there is something to be done in this deal. Now, that doesn't mean I'm saying I guarantee Liverpool will sign Alexander Isak this summer. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is Liverpool, by not denying this, clearly have an element of belief that something could happen. Now, how could they have that belief that something could happen? Well, it might be that Isak has said something, or it might be that they are getting senses or murmurings from Newcastle that something could happen if the contract breaks down, or if they need money for PSR. That's all it is. That's all it fucking is. Christ, how the fuck do you always anger me this much, man? Honestly. Fuck. It's fucking midnight and I'm this rattled at fucking Ryan. Christ on a bike, man. If we don't get a striker and a centre-back, we are finished and wasting a season of Salah and Van Dijk. Well, I'll be honest, I'd say that the centre-back is pretty confident. Sorry, came out. Has this been, like, aggregated yet? I'll come back to this, Liam. Let me know when this gets aggregated and stuff, and I'll have a little look. Where was Liam's? Centre-back wise, I think Gahey gets done. I know Dave O'Cott posted something today about how exclusive that it's going to get done or whatever. I'll be honest, Dave has had a decent window so far, especially on the Frimpong stuff. I think he's jumped the gun there. I don't think it's as far along as he suggested. So, Gahey wise, I think we're pretty sound, and then that's your centre-back thing. Striker wise, I agree. I think we do need to get a striker, and I don't necessarily agree with the viewpoint of, we should just, if we can't get Isak, wrap it up. Again, if you've watched me, you know, my shortlist is Isak, Osimhen, Alvarez, and Retegui. I'm and on about Ekitike, still more out than in on him. Still more out than in on Gyökeres, but again, it's one that could convince me in a type of way if he doesn't go Arsenal. So there are options for up front, but I do kind of agree with you. I don't think we can let another window go by where we don't pick anyone up, if you get me. I don't think that happens this summer. I think that Palace losing Gahey and Palace losing Thingy and Palace losing what's it called as a potentially means that I don't think they sell Wharton this summer on that basis. Sorry, I'm just looking at this article that K-Mac mentioned. The Times, Isak. I'm sure this is riveting content whilst I'm trying to read something, but whilst I'm trying to find something out about fucking Isak that I don't know if it got published. Where's read it? No, I'll find someone. If it's been posted, it'll get aggregated. Anyway, Real Madrid to RB Salzburg to smash Real tonight, and I'll take second spot and knock someone at 66 out. Cause you know what I will say. I know it's off topic. I have enjoyed nothing more than hate watching Trent Alexander-Arnold for the past couple of games. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It warms my heart. It really does. And it made me realise that we were fucking shocking on it, by the way. We were shocking on defending Trent, by the way. But, you know, you're always going to be. But, wow, it's an eye-opener. Who's that in your profile picture? The worst right back. He's just a shit Connor Bradley. Shit Connor Bradley. He's just a shit Connor Bradley. Shit Connor Bradley. He's just a shit Connor Bradley. Shit Connor Bradley. He's just a shit Connor Bradley. It's actually like, it gets off your chest. Yesterday's. I should then have this here, I think. Yeah, this. Liverpool have the funds to test Newcastle resolve despite their spending this summer. Newcastle are concerned an offer could be made early next month for Isak. Exactly what I'm saying. Wait till next month. And Newcastle prepared to make Alexander Isak the best paid player in their history. Any contract offer from Newcastle would not match the highest salaries at Anfield, with the club still constrained by Premier League's profit and sustainability rules. Newcastle hope their own qualification for the Champions League will be a factor in the play and not seeking the move. Everything I have said that fucking Ryan keeps going on about, where'd that from? How do you know? This is coming from the Newcastle journalists. This is the exact same thing that we were saying with Sterling. I'm going to take you back to 2016. Liverpool offered Raheem Sterling £100,000 a week. Raheem Sterling turned it down, and Raheem Sterling went to Manchester City. And when Raheem Sterling went to Manchester City, Liverpool put out stuff like this, saying that we offered to make him the highest paid player in the club, but we simply couldn't match the financial power of a Manchester City who were in the Champions League year in, year out. Yada yada yada. We tried. We did everything we could, but the player wanted to move, and we couldn't match them financially. Type thing. All I'm saying is this is the same thing. Oh my god. Where's that fucking Ban Ryan fund? Honestly, where's Ed when you need him for this Ban Ryan fund? Let me go find something for you. Martin Hardy, journalist. I will tell you Martin Hardy's job title. Martin Hardy is a Northern sports correspondent. Do you know who else is a Northern sports correspondent? Paul fucking Joyce. The Times do not employ 20 separate journalists to cover 20 Premier League teams. What they do is they hire people in certain areas of the country who will work on clubs in that area. So Paul Joyce covers Liverpool, Everton, and occasionally the Manchester clubs. Martin Hardy covers Newcastle, Sunderland, and occasionally Liverpool. If you think Paul Joyce is a Liverpool journalist, he is as much of a Liverpool journalist as Martin Hardy is a Newcastle one. So either they're both Liverpool journalists or neither of them are. Thank you. That is the last thing I'll be saying, because I cannot fucking deal with this anymore. Mate, it's bad, isn't it? It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, what's my life come to? You know when you're like a kid and you dream about what you're going to do in the future, and people say, oh, I'll be an astronaut, oh, I'll be a policeman, oh, I'll be this, oh, I'll be that. I certainly wasn't thinking that in 5, 6, 7 years' time, back when I was, I'll tell you this, after I'd done my GCSEs, I certainly didn't think at the age of 23 I'd be sitting there at midnight on a Thursday night, banging my head against a fucking table because someone in YouTube chat keeps arguing points that I have not said and keeps arguing points that I have constantly shut down and tried to explain. I am getting rage baited at 23 years of age at fucking midnight. Brilliant Christ, how has it got to this? Well, existential crisis over. Look, like I said, my percentage chance of Isak happening is 20%. I give it a 20% chance of happening at this point in time. That can change very quickly, either positively or negatively. Like I said, we are at the point in this saga where nothing has happened. Isak hasn't engaged in contract talks. We've not put a bid in. Nothing has happened yet. So the fact I'm saying 20% means this is open to a whole host of change. This is me saying we have a 20% chance of it happening with nothing being done yet. For all we know, Isak comes back off holiday, Newcastle offer him a contract, he says no, he goes, ooh, Liverpool might be alright, and then all of a sudden the chance goes to 50. We do not know how the saga is going to play out, but Martin Hardy, the Newcastle representative, I'll use the Northern Football representative for the Times, is saying that Newcastle are worried. Liverpool and our Liverpool journalists do not, I repeat, do not want or do not need to shut this down, because the football club must clearly think there is something in this. I think if Isak decides he wants to leave, Liverpool is his only destination. I think Arsenal will be off the market at that point because they'll have went for Sesko or a Gyökeres, and any other club can't afford them. As you should do. Chills. I appreciate you watching, mate, but as you fucking should do. João Pedro scored 5 non-penalty goals last season. 5. Fucking 5. Jota and Nunes outscored him non-penalty wise last season, and they were both wank. So yes, you should get cooked when you say you like João Pedro. But keep watching though. Keep watching and supporting the channel though. But look, people, I've done an hour. I've been rage-baited. I've spoken on everything that I need to speak on. Hold on. Do you think there's a chance that we sign a versatile forward who can play across the front three if we don't get Isak and sign Isak next summer instead? I think that could have been a plan if Luis Diaz hadn't started getting antsy. That's what I will say. I think the Diaz stuff might change a fair bit about what we're going to do with the attack this summer. But anyway, I'm going to love yous and leave yous, people. Thank you all very, very, very much for watching. I'll be live at some point next week. I do think that I'm going to try something new next week. I'll see if I've got everything set up for it over the weekend. You might see a Liverpool quiz with someone for the first time next week. So that's something to look forward to. And obviously I'll be doing bits and pieces throughout the week as well on news and stuff. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're spreading the channel around. Big ups everyone. Thank you all for watching at fucking midnight. If you all got rage baited like me, make sure to hit the likes. Love yous, leave yous. In a bit, people. Ta-ra.